Amateurs.
Well, welcome everybody to a special edition of Keegan and Cary's Movie Swap, where we, instead of discussing movies we've swapped, we're discussing the Boston Independent Film Festival that happened the other week. We had a good time, didn't we?
I had a really good time. Like, a lot of good films in there, a lot of amazing films, let's just say the least. Starting off with Adventures of Dardee and Not Lee. Maybe Not Lee and Dardee, but I've written it the other way around.
It doesn't matter. We're going to work through the festival in sort of in order and give some views and opinions and highlight the award winners too. This didn't win an award because it was a non-competition film, because it was kind of a group project.
Although it was a part of the awards, Audience Award, Choice Award.
Yes, that's true. Didn't win that, sadly, but it was very good.
I really loved it. Honestly, when Dan told me this idea, like 5-6 months ago, I went like, oh man, this is going to be really funny. And it was a mix of like Princess Bride, Lord of the Rings, bit of Monty Python, and I was constantly laughing all the way through. I'm surprised nobody turned to me every time I laughed at
No,
Mark
it was great.
Phillips' dubbed voice.
It is a parody fantasy film. It definitely has a sort of Monty Python-esque feel. Lots of innuendo, double entendres, and those sorts of things. Lots of jokes about who the troll has touched.
So much so that I think it went over everyone's heads, and I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Well,
No, I think they did. Like, because I've still asked people, and went like,
they snuck them in.
Yeah, even though we've confirmed that Dardee is just an absolute bastard of a character.
He's
I
great.
love him so
Mark
much.
Phillips, terrific. And who did the voice?
It was Jordan, which is Dan's cousin, and it fits quite well.
It
With dubbing it, it's really difficult.
So they
creative
dubbed the
choice to
voice, and it worked to give him a more aggressive stance. So we've got a dark wizard, his young sort of ward,
His
who
young
is an
apprentice
abused child, basically. And a conspiracy to steal a sacred stone off a village.
Yeah,
the MacGuffin stone.
And in between that, you've got a princess character. You've got all the archetypes are in here. You've got the villagers with a lot of personality. I love how much personality every one of the actors gave to these.
It's true.
Could be like thankless roles, but like I love Dan's like apple pie line, or Leo Spence's like it really gets into it with his inflections and all that. He cracks me up.
There was a lot of force and effort. What really stood out, I think, which is really impressive about it, is the production values. Filmed at partly at Flag Fen and then things like Snipedales and bits of the Peak District. It gave it a great scope and size.
It was, and it's all to do with those cameras and lenses, and it just looks like one of those Lord of the Rings movie. Like I'm just thinking of when
there was
you got
one long shot over the sort of hills, and it's all misty. Just beautiful stuff.
yeah,
Fabulous.
and there is like one stock instance of stock footage, but that's like
was that
one.
the misty one?
It was after we discover Dardee with the skull and all that.
Oh, that's later on.
Yeah, because they didn't want to get up early just to get a sunset shot. So fair enough. But like, it's a very great movie. I think the only flaws I have with it is a little bit of pacing, particularly any moment when the characters have to run. Because I go like, you could have cut that in
but
half.
it's fantasy. I mean, half the movie should be people walking somewhere.
I know, but I think it's kind of like a student thing. The walking thing I'm cool with because it's very Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. But when you've got like moments like Sir Robin Longfellow running around, it goes on for about longer than it should. But that's my only flaw with the film.
I didn't really have any problems. Even the little bits of CGI animals worked.
Yeah,
the humour worked.
Hey, the attempt to even do that is awesome. Honestly, like incorporating George Lucas style like CG effects, like here and there, just adds a bit more production flavour to you.
Great over the top violence too. So we started really, really strong, which is great. It's tough for the person who comes next, which was Agatha with Pursuing Worth. But that won an award, didn't it?
It did for best writing. It did.
Heartfelt was the word that came to my mind.
Yeah, when I watched this in the cinema, it did hit me, and I think it was because the ending, and I've been in that position before, but it does. I'm always interested when you make movies because they're always a showcase for what the writer or director's feeling. Like you'll watch The Room.
This was a very emotional sort of.
Yeah, like you watch The Room, and you could see what Tommy Wiseau the kind of life Tommy Wiseau wants, and I don't know, like. Agatha's movie, it feels like it's a snapshot of how she feels like.
It's very much a movie about a young person being in a sort of alienated relationship from their father, and how that comes about, and how we'd like it to be different. And the end is kind of a hopeful, optimistic.
Yeah, I think to improve that ending, they should have a final scene together. Like it ends with like the voiceover and all that. But those two should,
wasn't it?
Yeah. But I think that should have had an actual discussion. Instead of wrapping up in
it would have been a bit on the nose.
I don't know. I think he needed it.
Great performance by Dan Thompson as the teacher.
Oh, I thought he was a little bit wooden, to be honest. A bit
He's
wooden.
great in other things. He's great in other things.
But he is great in other projects.
But no, it's really, really, really cool. So that one best.
It's like every time
which
he said a line.
I say, was that a surprise to me? I'm not sure it's a surprise because it was nicely done. In terms of the rest of the production, not as high quality, but it's worth remembering a first year student.
Yeah. It's like again, like you get some of these students who come in and level 3 year 1 is probably their first time ever holding a camera, especially Blackmagic cameras. Because back in my day, we didn't even have Blackmagic cameras. We had to use DSLRs.
Let me get the small violin out for you.
Oh, boo-hoo, yeah. But woe's me with my DSLR camera.
The next one was really interesting and quite ambitious, despite its small scale. Letters of the Silent House, which is a sort of Victorian horror.
If you pitch this to me as like Dracula with mixed with the others,
it had elements of an estate agent.
Yeah, very Jonathan Harker.
Yeah.
I think the grand ambitious idea of it really lets it down because this is by a level 2 learner, isn't it?
Yeah, it was level 2, which is one lower.
I think in order because I appreciate the ambitiousness. I think if you're going to do a movie like this, either set it in contemporary present day or go all out and make it a period piece. I don't think it knows what it wants to be.
Well, I think that's limitations of resources because the costumes and the dialogue was sort of working, but the location was an issue. And I think if they'd had a different location, you would drop. I think they could have maybe up the stylistic content and pushed that.
Yeah, because you had
nice looks and ideas.
You did. You had some like dirt and scratches and all that, but I said like it doesn't go all the way with it.
And it wasn't trying to shock you; it was trying to creep you. Different sort of more gothic. Slash.
And it works in a few cases, but there was a couple of pacing issues. Like you get the moment at the end where one of the characters puts the hand against the window, and it's a little bit slow. And
the idea is great, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like the ambition behind it, like that's a creepy image, just to make it faster, make it more intense, as Lucas would say.
Yeah, and again, it's true though. It's interesting to see that development. We'll see how that student Neve Holman develops hopefully over level 3 because I think there's a lot of potential clearly. Lunareth, did that win Best Animation?
I think it did.
Yeah, I think it did as
Actually,
well.
Kelly Thompson's movie won Best Animation.
That is Lunareth.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I liked it. It was one of those ones where story-wise, I didn't get what it was about. I think it was a little bit of loneliness because you open up with like the character looking at this family.
It was more sort of impressionistic than strict narrative.
Yeah. And it was just a really cool, stylized animated movie.
There's several animated movies in the festival, and if you understand the technical difficulty of making these things, you appreciate them in a different way. So sometimes maybe narratively aren't as strong, but then the sheer amount of work to create, Lunareth was 1 minute 30.
I think
staggering amount of
work. It was frame by frame, and the backgrounds. I think that's my only flaw with that one is I think the backgrounds were used from a website like Sketchfab or whatever, and they're very 3D. Backgrounds mixed with 2D animation.
You see, I don't mind that it's an interesting combination.
Yeah, I like it. It just reminds me of like the 90s Spider-Man show when we were just kind of pushing CGI and
love the 90s Spider-Man show.
Yeah, it doesn't quite blend in well, but it's a choice. It's a choice.
It is a choice, and I think it was interesting that's the one that won. There were others we'll talk about, but that did win Best Animation, which is a distinct category. To reward, I think the sheer amount of effort that goes into these movies. Which, like I say, if you've never tried it, you don't know. Invisible Stan came next, a short level 2 mockumentary. That was good fun.
By Benjamin Richards, not to be confused with The Running Man's Ben Richards.
No, please don't. If you can't work it out, it's about a student. He's invisible. And it's one joke film. Yeah. But it was a joke well done. And I laughed.
I will give this. It's a one-joke film, but it was very short. And I'm a fan of one jokes. Like one of my favourite characters in all fiction is Hanson from Scary Movie 2. And the joke of that character is, isn't it funny? He's got a little deformed hand. And that is the joke.
That is the joke.
But this one, I feel like it went thin a little bit too quickly. But what constantly kept me going was Ross's really Andrew Sachs inspired voiceover.
There was a great voiceover. It did have a terrific voiceover. And there was just something hilarious just about looking at an empty chair to interview somebody repeatedly. The only thing I would say to add, if you're to do it again, bit of fishing wire, let's move some stuff around.
Play around
with the old Invisible Man film from the 30s.
Have a moment where he's at the canteen and all these guys are in line and they're all being pushed by this invisible force going, ow, stop it, ooh.
You could absolutely scale that movie up to be twice as long and still keep that central idea and all the humor.
It's interesting because some of the staff talked about it and they saw it as a comment on how, that's kind of like how you have a student in a room and they kind of keep their own devices.
But I mean, that's really interesting that you brought that up because there is the depth to the concept of invisibility. Often Like the most recent Invisible Man movie was actually about sex-based violence and harassment and those sorts of things. But you can use it as a metaphor for whatever you like. More animation came next. You Are My Rose by Imogen O'Callaghan.
Mixing Nick Cave with Kylie Minogue. Yeah, I love Kylie Minogue. And are you surprised, Carrie? I like Spice World, so yes.
I know. Yes, of course you love Kylie. Nick Cave's all right. He's not too shabby. That was sweet.
It was a really cool, interesting, sweet little film with a mix of depth of field. I was actually really cool when she mixed in depth of field in this.
Throwing that in the animation, again, technically... difficult stuff,
especially to a song. Like you've got a song there,
because you've got to have the rhythm and the pattern.
I think my only flaw with it is that she could have faded out the song a little bit more at the end. Like could have used a different section of the song and then merged it together.
Edit it for time.
Because for a later film, which we'll get to, which was Tony's, when he used the Roy Orbison song, they carefully spliced it. So
no spoilers. We'll get to that.
We will.
No, I liked it. I thought it was good. Although the guys, the main male characters' teeth. There's a lot of teeth, and I just thought kissing was a problem, but that's just me. Now we lunge into Lynchian madness with All Hail the Fat Man.
And I got
two friends obsessed with Genghis Khan. Things happen. Things that I cannot describe, some of them involving a wardrobe.
A wardrobe and a main character
dog
who thinks he's in a sitcom. And that's... I'm not really into abstract experimentation films because they're all about ideas more than story and characters. But there is a place for them, and they're a good showcase for creatives to like get some wild ideas out there.
I thought it did exactly what it was trying to do, which is, like I say, David Lynch-esque. It was fun. It was interesting. It didn't give you any answers.
No, and I don't need.
It didn't want to give you any answers.
I don't need like Charlie Sellers having a Q&A where he explains what the meaning of this is. I want it to be like Lynch.
It'll be less fun. Yes.
I want it to be like David Lynch, where you go, "What's the meaning of If I Walk With Me?" He went, I can't tell you that. No, I can't tell you.
It's really okay. Worth tracking down if you like that sort of thing. Definitely, it's worth tracking down if you don't. We move to Media Offline 2 next. Joseph Cullum's sequel to last year's Media Offline, surprisingly. More of the same, but we loved it. Everybody loved it.
There's nothing wrong with a sequel that's more of the same. As long as you like you're funny and you provide a lot of fresh jokes and all that, and new characters with one Cary here. He's in it.
I was briefly in it.
I watched it a couple of days ago and realised very superintendent Chalmers about your performance because you're a straight man in a quirky world.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Thank you. We are in some of these movies. If you didn't know, you get to watch them, you go,
yeah.
Who are those people? It's difficult to say anything other than it's very funny and it's absurd. Some terrific performances of absurdity. Great tissue paper work by Dan Thompson, particularly, which just fab.
Just really funny.
I think we need a supercut of both of them back to back. Actually.
We do, and we need to get some of those deleted scenes out because this was a bit longer. It was about 20 odd minutes longer.
It was only 14:50. It was only 15 minutes. But, it could have been longer. I would have loved it to be longer. I know some of the jokes that hit the floor, and it was just like, there's some good jokes missing.
I wished my character got a little bit more to do because he is a bit of a one joke. He comes in, he does this Roger Moore shtick, and then just exits the film.
What's wrong with a bit of Roger Moore?
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with a bit of Roger Moore, but sometimes you want a bit more variety in your characteristics.
Amelia Hall's After Party is an interesting one. It's a documentary on a band called The After Party. It's one of those ones where you like, it's exactly what it should be. It's just blisteringly competent, and I think she deserves a lot of praise for that.
My first thoughts when I watched it was this could be on TV, and very professional sounding, very professional looking.
Yeah,
just
well edited,
performed. I like the interviewees, but they were a little bit dry, and it's personally not for me.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because it's documentaries, so the people are the people, and so you talk to them, and if they come off a bit dry, they're a bit dry. But I think as a filmmaker, what she's done is worked with that very, very well to create. And you sound well as well. The music that the band's playing is underneath the track, underneath the film for a lot of it. So it did exactly what it highlighted this band. It told their story. It showcased their music. And like you say, if you saw that on TV or something, you'd go, yeah, that's exactly. I believe that's a professional bit of filmmaking.
Especially by a level 3 year 2 student. I was just like, I tip my hairpiece to you.
You should. Chapeau, as they say. Rounding out the first half then was a slightly longer film, 9-minute film, Inner Thoughts I may mispronounce Kiona Schmackai's name, but
Yes,
that's the best I
Keanu
can do.
Schmack, yeah.
Yeah, just Schmack.
Yeah. The J's silent.
Quite ambitious detective movie, mystery. Maybe trying to get too much in, but I appreciate what she was doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas here, and she is a very competent director,
Yes.
editor, and actor. Very much like in the Eastwood mode. She's really, really good at a performance.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it was that engaging. There was a lot of walking. I think you could have trimmed some of this in half.
Keep talking about walking.
I know, but like it's a sign of a student film, isn't it?
Yeah,
what we're gonna
and
do, walking.
we've got to think about these things as student films, and if we're critiquing them, it's not. Where we appreciate that actually for some people it's the first thing they've done.
But I'm really impressed.
The potential was really good there. Maybe simplify it if anything, but it worked in terms of, was there a mystery? Was there pace to it? Did it resolve? So it's all there, isn't it?
Yeah, and to talk about the positives, like it looks nice, it's shot nice, good performances. As I said, like there's a lot to admire here, and I know like some artists can be critical of their work and say like, oh, that shot's a bit awful and all that. But at the end of the day, you made a movie.
Yeah, you did,
and
it's learning. It's a really interesting learning. It was a nice way to end the first half.
Or if I were organising the festival, I would switch that film with Media Offline 2.
Controversial.
Get to the intermission laughing. Because I wanted
maybe
to, get everyone laughing out the seats in the eyes, going like, "Oh my god, did you see Cary Edwards when he was like laughing at Dan Thompson?"
It was an amazing performance by me, I have to say. We moved to part two. We started again with another experimental movie. Not so much Lynch this time. I'm not even sure who I would compare this to, but Sam Reinwright's Look at Me, which I thought was terrific. I thought it was really,
Look at Me,
really good. Not to be confused with that. It's basically one shot in a variety of locations, and somebody running at the screen shouting "Look at me," which is really underselling this movie. But I don't know how better to describe it.
I love the composition. I love the quirkiness of these performances. Okay, I'm in it briefly playing a banjo, but not channeling my inner Ronnie Cox from Deliverance, unfortunately.
No, exactly. If it reminded me of a certain Looney Tunes cartoons. There's a terrific one where it might be called Duck Amuck, where Daffy Duck interacts with the cartoonist. There is a direct interaction between the main character, played by Anthony Zanelli, who was really good in lots of things, but he's good in this. He's the main in this, and effectively the audience or the filmmaker and the editing, and that direct interaction was a really interesting thing to play with.
Yeah, and it was just an interesting one to watch after the intermission, because again, like, you don't know how everybody's going to think to movies like this. And again, like, I'm glad that this year there was a lot of space for animation, there was a lot of space for experimental film, there was variety, maybe a music video, but we did that last year,
We did.
There's always like that cool
music video. This sold it. Nobody does music videos. It's not a thing.
I mean, it's not as big as when Fincher was doing it, but
it's not the days of Vogue and stuff like that. But animation came next with There You Are by Tyrese Mallet, which was digital animation with a murder bot.
Yeah,
it was really short, but it had that Five Nights at Freddy's feel to it.
It did,
which it did bang on, I think.
And there was some really creative uses of angles to get around some of the gore, even though you do see some of the blood, but again, it's not detailed. And cool use of Blender.
It was really cool use. Yeah. I thought it was quite striking, and looked like it should look, if that makes any sense to you at home. Eloise Webb did the next one, Measure of Blame, which did it win something?
It won Best Sound. It did.
I'm not entirely sure it shouldn't have won Best Editing or Best Writing. Controversial, because I just thought it was terrifically well put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this movie won Best Sound, and then
I'm not saying it shouldn't have won Best Sound, but it's interesting.
No, it's a good movie.
I really went for this
decent performances, but I was not. It's like I wasn't as engaged, and that's primarily because a lot of it takes place in the TV studio.
Well, it did, but it didn't look like the studio.
No, it didn't.
Go and watch it, but it's a police interview room, and the interviewer stays the same. The interviewees cut, so the questions overlap, the responses overlap, and that's a structural game that's really interesting. There's a very similar scene like that in The Usual Suspects towards the start, after the lineup, and it did this to piece together what happened to a girl on a night out.
Might have happened to this girl on this night out,
which it did, and then it effectively implicating everybody who was involved in it. main performance, and I've forgotten the dude's name who played the
Brad
detective.
Woodhead. Yeah.
Really good.
That was
He
supposed to be
terrific.
more Dicky, but he had to drop
Well,
out.
Brad was there. It
scheduling
doesn't matter. And
conflicts.
he did a really good, consistent performance all the way through that movie, which anchored it. And yeah, you see, that one really struck me. I mean, it's always very personal.
Yeah, it was fine. It was like the after party where I was like, you did the best under the circumstances you had. It sounded great. You made use of your one location. As I said,
Yeah,
like,
but
did not question it at
that's
all.
somebody thinking. Sometimes, you know, we think about, you know, some of the ones in the first half. The ambition potentially becomes a flaw because it's difficult to do that thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the right costumes, but you can't get the right location. Whereas this, it's a virtue to go, what have I got? Well, I've got a room, and I can light the room, and I can throw the background out, and I can make a movie that's just conversation.
Yeah, I had that with some of my level 3 year ones where I went to because one of them wanted to shoot in a courtroom, and he had this whole bench of like wanting to shoot in this courtroom, and he think he was going to get it, and then by the time like he got to shoot, he went, oh, I couldn't. So he shot.
So
in
it's a
TV
difficult
studio.
thing, isn't it? So
I
I have a lot of
make your movies with those
praise for
limitations in
that
mind.
sort of attitude of going, what have I got? What can I do?
Yeah, like,
Use your limitations rather than
like Kevin
complaining.
Smith, like you know what he did with Clerks? He shot in the place that he worked. Made a movie
Absolutely.
around that.
Yeah, let's not talk about the sequels. Body Cam came next. Leo Spencer's short animation, Unreal this time rather than Blender. That was fun.
No, it was really fun. My flaw was because it was all mocapped. The guy's arms cover a lot of the action that's going on screen.
Yeah, it's
But
POV, so you see
it's
stuff,
POV.
you don't see stuff. But
So it's not
in a
an
sense,
issue.
because it was a horror suspense thing, by playing with what the audience can and can't see, you potentially build suspense, which again, short, sweet, loads of work, effective.
Yeah, and again, motion capture, like a technology that we've been using for years and years,
Yeah.
used for an animation, and it works.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
no
why
flaws
not?
with it whatsoever, apart from that.
Well, it's just, I mean, it's kind of like this, just like rotoscoping used to be done.
Oh, rotoscope.
Fire and ice and things like that. More animation came next. What it sounds like, Chelsea Kelly's anime style, frame by frame animation.
Which I'm
Frame by
surprised
frame
didn't
animation.
win. It should have.
I think it's different things. There was no narrative here. It was more. It was like a montage, a very well-made montage, synced to a song. Painstaking is the word that's in the program, and painstaking, I think, is good. So, again, the judges made their decisions, but yeah, I have a lot of sympathy with all the animation because that's a lot of work.
It is. I heard stories from her that she had like 3 hours of sleep, like making this every day, and it shows.
Yeah.
It definitely shows. Like the character designs, the pacing, the expressiveness of capturing that anime style. I think
Yeah,
that's one of
which
the
it
reasons
did,
why it didn't
absolutely, and the choice of music, emotionally, it captured anime style, so not just visually.
And there's a lot of things.
I don't watch a lot of anime before
I
somebody
don't.
accuses.
I
Good.
watched anime.
Good,
As
I
a
watch
kid.
manly movies, all right? Just move on. Like
This guy
RoboCop.
watches a lot of Charles Bronson
I
and
do.
a bit of Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, maybe. But yeah, but kind of beautiful at times. Romantic.
Yeah, there was even a sex scene there, which I didn't even
I
notice.
didn't notice that. People keep telling me this. I
Yeah,
haven't watched
there
it
is,
back.
there is. But
Okay.
it was very blink and you miss it because
Well,
even I didn't even notice on my
Thank God.
first
Thank
viewing.
God. Let's move on. Right, we're into the last sort of chunk of the festival. A series of, I mean, they were all good, weren't they? The Lurker, a little horror film, co-starring yourself
Yes.
as a crazy cult member,
I know with my little shoes and wristwatch.
and some great cults. You need to know what time to sacrifice. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. I don't mind the wristwatch of the cult
I was
member.
cool- I was
Juxtaposition, it's called.
And it was good. It was,
So that was Louisa, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have a lot of appreciation for this movie in particular because she had an idea and she just went along with it, and she very much taught filming as we'll shoot a shot, get it done, next one, shoot a shot,
bang,
next
bang,
one.
bang.
Which is a lot of issues, like a lot of directors have. I have,
Yeah.
where I just want to look at my footage that I've shot. I went, no, time is essence. Like, move on to next shot.
It was fun for it's documentary makers out in the woods in a place where there's rumours of a cult, and of course it turns out there is, and it's not good for the filmmaker.
No.
Short, sweet, echoes of things like The Wicker Man in there, a bit of
Yeah, a
folk
little
horror.
bit of
Nice
that.
to see some folk horror.
I don't know, nothing wrong with a bit of folk horror. Wicker Man's one of my favourite movies, so like to give that genre a little bit of attention is welcomed.
Yeah,
I think
no.
my only flaw of it is that the middle section is a little bit like, oh man, you started out so
You could have
promising.
maybe the interview, I think, with the priest played by Mark Phillips could have been perhaps chopped a little bit. I have some sympathy with that.
Yeah, that's where you need it to get to a certain point, but at the same time, it's like
Good use of
stick with the
locations.
coat. Yeah,
Good bit of drama. Some really committed performances.
I know. I've probably threw my voice out just like laughing constantly during takes.
It was good.
A little bit of running as well for anyone who wants to see this film.
Yes, yeah. It is a film with much running, which is great. Then, I keep forgetting to mention the awards, but then Best Director. Was it Best Film or Best Director?
Which one film we're on now?
Murder by Contract.
Murder by Contract. So Best Film.
Best Film, excuse me.
And Best Director.
And Best Director.
Starring Dr. Cary Edwards as a film noir detective.
Yeah, Detective Calder. I can't comment on it because I was in it, so you tell us stuff.
Well, I like film noir, but I go from film noir as in it's easy to take the mick out of. It's been spoofed several times, from Naked Gun to Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Yeah. And I just thought it was a very exceptional love letter to movies like Double Indemnity, The Big Sleep.
Yeah.
It was a very well put together movie with very few flaws. I think a good use of contingency planning, because I knew Olivia wanted to shoot at the Scala Theatre, but that was not ready.
Yes, Olivia Everson who wrote and directed, and yes, there was a lot of using whatever resources could and lighting locations. We couldn't use the main location, so a backup location was selected, but that seemed to work okay. I think.
You can see the seams, but do you know what? It works for the scene and it connects together as best as it could. There's a moment where you walk down the stairs with Ben Tiffin, and it cuts from this stair from this location into
the
HE room.
Into yes, you cut between buildings and fake it and corridors, but that's okay.
But no, really good movie. I wish actually this could have been the cap off to the first half. I wish it was as well.
Interesting. That's always it's
have
difficult.
A big ass movie just to end your first half, and people going like, "Oh my god, a film noir." Did you?
Yeah, and I think she did really well actually, and everybody involved in trying to get the lighting and some of the angles and trying to get the feel of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't an amateurish production. It was a very top tier production.
Yeah, and my performance is in it as well, but we'll skip that. I didn't win best performance. God damn it!
No, it's a snub and a half.
Snubbed again. But the guy who did win best performance was Keith, who was in Last of the Sunset Rangers by Anthony Zanelli. Half an hour of, I don't even know what genre this would be. It's sort of Ken Loach mixed
with Train Spotting, mixed with
social realism and fantasy,
mixed with
and
King
magic
of Comedy.
realism. And King of Comedy is actually quite a good reference point.
Yeah, it opens like King of Comedy with guy on stage performing, in front of an adoring crowd with Mark Dickey's crazy ass.
Set amongst the entertainers at caravan parks, with a aging, possibly losing his mind country singer who has become obsessed with Roy Orbison and projects his obsession onto a Roy Orbison impersonator.
Gary Neal himself, yeah.
And it's difficult. Look, it's brilliant. It's just
honestly,
amazing.
You guys need to see this,
but it's very difficult to say anything about it because it is so particular to itself. So whereas, and this is not a criticism, Murder by Contract is a film noir. It's trying to be a film noir, so you have a reference point. Last of the Sunset Rangers is doing something completely different on its own. Any film that has a talking fish in it or Roy Orbison swimming is a different thing, isn't it? A little bit violent, very sweary.
No, and
in fact, Daniel Thompson with his Yorkshire accent.
No, and he did a good job in this movie.
He was,
so again,
I think the performances
in this world, especially
really
with the daughter character as well, to level up how insane this
main character has two kids who are desperately trying to help him. My favourite line is, "Do you think I can get royalties for a funeral?" Which was just
honestly. All my favourite lines.
It's funny, but it's also sad and tragic and scary and weird.
All my favourite lines just come from Keith himself, who's never acted before, really, 80 years old, and he's just phenomenal. I think a lot of that experience does help with it a bit as well, because he has this particular performance, how he holds his hands like this a little bit. But
was a very interesting, because he dominates the film, and it's in a sense it's an odd performance, but it's an odd character, and it's perfect. He feels like he is detaching, but there's some really emotional moments.
I know when you get to
and actually my favourite shot from the whole film festival is that low angle looking up at Dan when he's unblocking a toilet, which is just like brilliant. Just a brilliant.
My favourite shot is when
shot.
you see Keith and he's like all of his hair's dishevelled. It's a real physical transformation. Like look how low your lead protagonist has got to because of this obsession and potential, you know.
And shout out to Mark Dickey for his performance as
Scene Stealer
Barry Backshot, who was he's kind of like Jimmy Savile or something like that, something horrific like that.
No, he's kind of like if you mix Clinton Baptiste from Phoenix Nights with just any 70s entertainer.
Yes, yeah.
And he just steals the movie in the 5 minutes.
He's barely in it. He's barely in it, but you know, well done. That's how you make an impact.
No, and my favourite line probably in all of this, and it's very much a Norm Macdonald line, pretty much verbatim nearly taken from Norm Macdonald, which he goes, "Didn't even know she was sick."
It was.
I'm fish. I'm plankton. You're krill.
I'm a shark. I just incredible.
It's highly quotable. I've watched it 7 times, and I just find ways to sneak in quotes from this movie now into discussions.
It is. And look, Anthony Zanelli. I mean, hell of a job.
Wonderful
job.
Really
good. He's in a lot of these movies as well. He's contributed to a lot of stuff, but. I did get a glimpse of the script before they made it, and I remember reading it thinking, there's no way they're doing this. No, and then they did it.
Yeah,
it proves I'm an idiot.
On the table reads and just some of the things that were changed or slightly altered to make it dial up some of the quirkiness back. And it's just like, no, some of that still comes through.
Yeah.
And some of those limitations helped the movie for the better, I would say.
Rounding out the whole event before the awards was a non-competition film by Charlie Atkinson called Thank You and Goodbye, which was basically a really sweet little talking heads piece.
Yeah, it was nice.
People's journeys.
What really struck me is obviously it's a student piece, so it shows a lot of the talking heads are students who have been on this course since level 2 or level 3 year 1. But it was really cool to see the perspective from the staff, because again, it's not just the students that lives are changed and made by this course. It is the staff that are involved in it, because they have a shape in focusing, reminding these young personalities with their own. And it's good to come into a job every day, for some of them, to inspire and have a good laugh with I think creators alike.
Teachers say this all the time, so it's such a cliche. But one of the things in the job is the hope that you will see development. It's what usually called the light bulb moment, the thrill of seeing somebody understand stuff and get stuff or do stuff, and that's evident in this. And Charlie won last year, the previous year's film festival. His film did very, very well, and this is sort of a love letter to his journey and the students and the staff he's been with. So it's like a really beautiful way. I'd like to see more of that sort of stuff, particularly behind the scenes stuff. I think it would be really cool to see.
Because a couple of years ago,
that personal journey.
We had a movie called Behind the Cameras, and it's not like a personal journey of films per se, but it shows the inside of how those movies are made. I eat that stuff up with a spoon. I remember having old DVDs and sometimes I want to watch the movie first.
Extra.
I would just go into the behind the scenes because I just want to know how they achieved this shot, or what did this actor think about being in this particular role, or the positives and negatives of being on a busy set. Those Lord of the Rings box sets are just a treasure trove.
They are crazy, and that era has passed, and it's a real shame. Look, there's been 4 of these festivals. I don't know which one the best one is. You have personal reasons for liking number 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really big, ambitious ideas in that second year that I look back with a lot of fondness. I made my first big movie that I never thought I was ever going to make, but a lot of people inspired me. Include it in our helpful Dan Thompson over there.
Yeah. He didn't inspire me.
He did make you watch Meet the Feebles after all.
He did, and I'm still upset. But, overall, the quality, and, there's level 2 work, there's level 3 year 1, there's level 3 year 2. The quality overall, at the best end, is I'm surprised this is a further education student. If you'd say this was an HE student, and I have seen movies and show reels from higher education that are not as good as some of the stuff we saw. So it's a real tribute to the students, the staff. the equipment that gets used, and because there's one thing having the equipment, using it is a slightly different thing.
Yeah, like because again, like we have access to like black magic cameras, like cameras I'd never thought.
Yeah,
we'd
drone
ever have
shots,
access to drone
all
shots,
sorts of wonderful stuff,
connections that we wouldn't have, like, and having like
and
tutors
going
who were
out to these wonderful locations.
We're just open to ideas. Like, I want to make an experimental film that's in a David Lynch inspired like flavor.
Well, but
yeah,
you
go
think,
make it.
even a film like Look at Me, which is only 8 minutes long, had multiple weird locations. So everybody has to get in the damn van, has to go there, has to film it. Brilliant.
Get permission as well.
And that
one of them's an airfield from
an airfield and some abandoned shed in the woods, and it gives the film real life and scope
and production value as well. Again,
yeah, and that mix, back to Eloise's film Measure of Blame. It's just a room, but it's a room that's cleverly lit.
Yeah,
and
so you wouldn't go like, that looks familiar.
So
it's just using your limitations to your advantage.
It's inspiring stuff. Does it not inspire you to make another movie?
Maybe, but not in the directorial chair.
No, just
too much pressure on that regard. I'd rather produce or write.
I'd rather just sit here and whinge about everybody else's work. That's what I do. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Look, if you haven't watched these movies, go and watch them. They're all available on YouTube. I'm sure we'll link somewhere in the comments. Some of them have been snipped, so you can just watch them again and again.
Yeah, some of them are going to be premiering over the next couple of days. But if you want to watch all of them in one go, they're on YouTube.
Get the full effect.
Thumbnails are... timestamps are in the description of that video if you want to check it out. We'll link it here.
And it's just worth saying that the film festival actually, happened at Savoy Cinemas in Boston, so it's a real great thing that they let the Boston College students take over Savoy Cinemas for a day or so to do all these things, and that's a great event. You won't get that feeling at home of the whooping and the cheering and the laughing.
As an insight, guys, back in the days of like when I did film studies, if you made a movie, you would screen it in like one of the college rooms, and that would be the day. That would
maybe
be it.
Print yourself your own DVD cover.
Yeah,
if you
make your own DVD cover.
But it's a real thrill to seeing your movie up on the big screen.
It is, and having like fans coming along, family, and going like, oh yeah, you made something. You made something that you're going to show your grandkids or your parents like in 10, 15, 20 years time, and go like, look at me, kiddo, I made that.
And that's what we're here for. Anyway, thank you very much for listening or watching wherever you are. If you can give us a like and a subscribe, we would be very grateful.
Cheerio, guys.